Hey everybody, this is Jason. Welcome to Liberty Shorts. Today we're going to be discussing the covenant of salt. Do you know Abijah, son of Rehoboam, son of Solomon, stood up one day when he was going to war in the field of, in the region of Ephraim rather, and he said to his opponent, he said, do you not know that the Lord has given the covenant of Israel to David, a covenant of salt? And someone says, what's the covenant of salt? We know that in Leviticus, it says, none of your offerings shall be missing salt. And it also is again referenced that God has given a covenant of salt, which is a covenant forever. And it mentions David, a covenant of salt. We also know that we're salt and light on the earth, and salt is a persevering agent. Some people say salt used to be the salary of a Roman. That's not true, but they called it salari, which means salt wage or salt money, because salt was a persevering agency. So imagine meat would spoil in a few hours on the counter, but in a dehydrator, it's good for months and months and months, right? And so this becomes a very valuable thing in the ancient world where there's no refrigeration and so on and so forth. But it's deeper than this. Do you know that in the Middle Eastern world, in the Levant, if you had salt between two people, it meant that you had peace. It meant that you would have covenant. It meant that you'd have fellowship. Sometimes they would actually put salt between them, and it literally meant we are in fellowship. God is preserving our bond, and we've made a covenant which cannot be broken based on that same tenature of salt. Now, the last thing I have to say about this is this. If you and I are the salt of the earth, God's covenant is us. I have given you as a covenant to the people, as light to the nations, it says in Isaiah. And we know that this is fulfilled in Christ Jesus. The promise is made all the way back from Moses and Abraham, but it's brought to complete fruition from all the nations, filling the Torah and Haftorah and the Brit Hadashah in the words and the personage of Jesus Christ. Not only that, he shed his blood in his body for us, and we are now literally the salt. Let me say one other thing. When salt touches water, it's salty water. When salt touches juice, it's salty juice. When salt touches food, it's salty food. Notice that the salt changes the thing does not change the salt. So I want you to be well aware of that you are a change agent. You are the salt of the Lord, the covenant of the Lord. The covenant of God is the priesthood to the people. That's his gift. And that priesthood is none other than the salt of the Lord.